And then we will also be talking about the EdTech Demonstrator program and how that can also support you in school. So we're first going to talk about the Computing Hub and how that can support you with developing your computing curriculum. So our Computing Hub is part of the National Centre for Computing Education. You may have heard this being referred to as the NCCE or Teach Computing. We are all under the same umbrella. We have been funded by the DFE. It is a 3-year programme. We are in the final year of our programme, and the vision is for every child in every school in England to have a world-leading computer education. So what does that vision look like for you in schools in Birmingham? So the NCC has been set up across England, and then from that we have got a computing hub base throughout the country. Our base for Birmingham and Central Midlands Computing Hub, and my name is Sarah Vaughan and I am the computing hub lead, the primary lead that will support your primary schools moving forward. So I'm first just going to spend a little bit of time talking about what support is out there for the primary school teachers and heads that are on now, and then I'm going to pass over to Chris, who will be able to talk about what support is on offer for secondary schools. So support that is available for you. We have a free scheme of work available on our website for years 1 to 6. So you can access this for completely free to use. We have quality assured learning materials, a range of free online CPD courses. We also have face-to-face or live remote courses, which do have a bursary attached to some of these courses. And again, I'll explain this a little bit more in further slides. We have physical programming kits that you can loan from us with the supporting resources. So we currently have microbits and crumble kits available, which you can use with Upper Key Stage 2. Your subject leads can go for an accreditation. Again, this is all free to complete. And we will also provide your schools with a tailored support program if that is needed. So CPD, one of the issues we have with computing is a lot of staff do not have that confidence, do not have that knowledge to be able to teach the computing curriculum. So we have a wide range of online courses available for staff to do. All of these courses are free. They are all self-paced. They are hosted on FutureLearn, so they're between 3 and 4 weeks long. You will log on, you will do an hour and a half. You will come back next week and do a little bit more, or you can sit and do it all in one go. We have a course for your Senkos to look at how to make your devices accessible for all. And then we have CPD, such as programming and algorithms or knowing computer systems and networks. So all kind of the CPD that you will need, you will be able to find on these online courses. In addition to online courses, we have our either face-to-face and live remote courses. Okay, they cover the same things, they're just delivered in slightly different way. These courses cost just £65 per teacher, but the very first teacher from your school to attend one of these courses will receive a bursary of £220. Okay, so you may have had staff who attended courses last academic year. The bursary resets from September. So even if somebody from your school went on a course last year, that bursary is still available again this year for the first teacher that attends a course. Again, we have a wide range of subject knowledge courses, and we also have subject leader courses such as assessment for computing, outstanding computing for all. We also have a subject leaders course. Now, this course is slightly different because this is a 2-day course, but you will receive a bursary of £440 if that was the first course that someone from your school attended. So the bursary is just for the first course, but each course is only £65 to attend. And when you get access to these slides, you'll be able to see what our offer is for this autumn term. As mentioned earlier, physical programming kit. So this is just kind of to show you, if you've not seen these before, what is available to loan. So we will have microbit class sets that you can borrow and crumble kits. So you can loan the class sets from us for free, and we will also provide free training sessions where your staff can come along to our centre and you can have a hands-on experience with how to use these in school. And then we will also provide you with the relevant resources that you can, lesson plans, etc. So you can then use these back in school. Scheme of work. So on our website, teachcomputing.org/curriculum, this is where you will be able to see the scheme of work that is available to you. So as mentioned before, it is free to use. As you can see on there, there are 6 units available for each year group. Everything on here is fully editable, so you can adapt the lessons as you require. Everything that's used on here is free software, so you don't need to purchase anything to make anything work. So if you've not already got a curriculum in place, this could be a good starting point. Equally, if you've already got something and you're just looking for new things to replace certain elements, this may be a place where you can have a look for some of those resources. And finally, we are offering a free consultation to all schools, okay? So within this consultation, I can do a curriculum review with you to look at what you are already doing with your computing curriculum. You know, where do you want to go with it? I can help support you by identifying what needs you've got, and then I can provide you with a targeted plan of support. So that support may be going on some of the CPD courses or some of our other free training events that are on. If within these sessions, though, you have got a need that currently we do not offer that support in, then we can provide that additional bespoke support to your school, to your staff if needed, okay? So if you would like your subject leads to find out a little bit more about what support is available, we are doing a free drop-in session on Tuesday the 19th of October, that they can come along and we can just go through this a little bit more details about the support that is available. Okay, I'm going to pass over now to Chris to talk about the support for your secondary schools.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll just share my screen now. So hopefully everybody is able to see this. So I'm the Secondary Computing Hub lead, so I'm your port of call for anything secondary school related. So I'm just going to talk through the offer for secondary schools, what is available, talk you through the very generous bursaries that are available for support for secondary schools and secondary school teachers. So you already know this, I guess. The idea is that we deliver high quality CPD with generous bursaries, signpost you to teaching and learning resources, providing school to school support and working with you to identify your needs and providing targeted support to help embed this key subject into the school curriculum. As Sarah said earlier, the vision to provide a world-leading computing education for every child in England. So this is how we are working out that vision. So targeted support. So examples include the Teach Computing curriculum. So just like in the primary, there are resources, schemes of work, lesson plans, assessments, and so on for the whole of the Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 curriculum. This is all available on the teachcomputing.org website. It's all free, like all the resources, downloadable and free, so that can be used as it's a great starting point. But even if you've got your own schemes, it's definitely worth looking at what can you adapt from these schemes into yours. There's also assessments included in that as well. And then, of course, we've got a wide range of courses, free, remote, online. So online courses, as Sarah described, these are the self-paced courses. The remote courses, these are synchronous, so they're at specific times and dates, but these come with bursaries depending on what time of day they start. We also, just like for the primary, we also have physical computing kits that we will be able to loan out to schools across Birmingham. At Key Stage 3, we will have some microbits, and at Key Stage 4, we will have the Raspberry Pi pupils. There will be free face-to-face training or online training. In order to borrow the kits, you would have to commit to attending the training, because the whole point in it is that you know what you're going to use these kits for. And here is our flagship program. It's the Subject Knowledge Certificate, also known as the Computer Science Accelerator program. Again, obviously funded by the DFE, but this is for people who currently teach GCSE computer science, people who would aspire to teach GCSE computer science, or teachers you've identified who may have an interest in the future in teaching GCSE computer science. Primary teachers can do this as well. It is primarily for secondary teachers, but you may have primary teachers who wish to do it, and they are able to do it and receive the bursary for doing it as well. So you can see there at the bottom, there's a diagnostic tool. So when you sign up on the teachcomputing.org website, you do a short audit of skills, and this will then I'll come back to that slide, tell you the most appropriate pathway to go down. So there are many pathways for the non-specialist teachers. So it's not necessarily just for your maths or science or DT teachers who you might have traditionally thought would be more likely to teach computer science, but we're finding teachers from all of the disciplines on that slide are interested in teaching computer science, and there are specific pathways for each of these teachers, which the website will direct them down. In discussion about the bursaries, there is up for one teacher, there is up to £1,800 available for them to complete the subject knowledge certificate. There is currently no limit to the number of teachers per secondary school or primary school who complete the training. The bursaries are slightly less at primary school. I can cover that individually if there's any primary schools interested, but for secondary schools, these are unlimited, so currently you can send as many teachers as you wish to this. To do the subject knowledge certificate, you need to complete 10 hours of CPD. 5 of those hours must be synchronous, so either a face-to-face course or a remotely delivered course. Once you've completed 10 hours, and you can complete more than 10 hours, but once you've completed 10 hours, you get an automatic payment to your school of £300. When you've completed 10 hours and sat the test and passed the test, which incidentally is a half-hour multiple choice test, and I as a non-specialist passed straight away. So, you know, it's straightforward. If you've done the CPD, it is linked directly to the CPD. So that's £620. And then for each course, so long as the course, if it's a face-to-face course or remote course, so long as it starts before 2:30 in the afternoon, there's £220 per day, up to a maximum of 4 days. So 4 of those courses can be completed, which would be 20 hours, £880 in total, which obviously adds up to 1,800. That can be used to pay for travel and cover, or as Annie Davis in the quote there, they invested in the department getting laptop computers for the students and robots for our coding clubs. Now, if you've got a number of teachers on this, then that could be a generous amount of funding that you can use for multiple things in your schools. Incidentally, if you do have teachers who have completed the 10 hours, but they're struggling with the tests, or they've sat the test and failed, we have what is known as a CS champion, computer science champion, who can support them with revision, individual revision, bespoke revision, group revision sessions. So if you've got a number of teachers from your school or MAP who have all done the program, we can organise revision sessions, group revision sessions, and these can be done on Teams or they can be done face to face. So there is support. So you don't just do the courses and then we leave you to your own devices. There is that specific support there available. I've covered that one already. And then the subject matter expert support. So again, with this world-leading computer science education, we do want all schools to be offering GCSE computer science. Now, some schools have offered it and found that it was difficult. So we are really here to support you with that. You may find yourself in one of these categories. If you are in one of these categories, do get in touch. and we will introduce you to your local subject matter expert who will be able to support you. So if you don't yet offer GCSE computer science, but you might be considering it, or even if you're not considering it, you've got 2.5 days of free consultancy support to help you to introduce GCSE computer science, a £1,400 bursary, and an additional £4,000 bursary if you've not delivered it for an academic year or more and are committed to delivering it the next academic year. So lots of support available for you there. If you're a school who do GCSE computer science, but you're considering dropping it, get in touch. We can give you a day of free consultancy and guidance and support, plus a bursary. If you've only started it in the last 2 years, there is again a day of support available, fully funded from the DFE, because we are passionate about making sure all pupils have access to that GCSE in computer science. And this is a summary slide that you can look at once you get the slides. But we also have STEM ambassadors who work in industry. They can come and support your curriculum either online or live in person. And this just summarizes it. We also have CAS communities, and these are communities of teachers coming together to share best practice in teaching computing at both primary and secondary. I'm now going to stop sharing, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague Luke, and Luke is going to talk to you now about the EdTech Demonstrator program.
I am indeed. Good afternoon, everybody. Just quickly getting the PowerPoint up, the joys of online conferencing quickly. Hopefully you can all now see what I'm sharing. Hang on, no, you can't. Hopefully now you can see what I'm sharing on the screen. So good afternoon, my name is Luke Ravenscroft. I am the lead for the EdTech Demonstrator program, which is based at the very nice and short St Albans Catholic Primary School with Bishop Chandler Catholic College. We're still working on shortening the name. And I'm going to spend a few moments now just sort of briefing you on what the program is, what we can offer, and hopefully at the end, if I've convinced many of you to get onto it, how you can sign up to the program as well. So the EdTech Demonstrator program, what is it? Now, the EdTech Demonstrator program was set up originally pre-COVID, and then obviously COVID happened, and then like everything else, it changed. And in phase 1, April 2020, the aim of the program was to support schools nationally across England in helping them adapt to our new strange world that we found ourselves in of teaching remote and teaching from home and so forth. So it was a very reactive program in the first instance. It was a lot of support around setting up our virtual classrooms, be it Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. And it quickly evolved into sort of a teaching and learning platform where we were helping schools with their teaching and learning when they were working remote. We are one of 42 demonstrator schools, and we are, as I said, mentioned, spread nationally. And we're now in our second year, we're now in our second phase of the program. And this phase of the program, we're transitioning from this sort of reactive firefighter approach to the response to the government's shutting the schools back in March 2020. And what we're looking to do now, and what we are doing now rather, sorry, is offering support around a fair few strands that we've identified as a program. Now you can read for yourself here. Some of them include catch up and recovery, obviously very hot topics at the moment. How can we support our students through technology in hopefully making up that ground that they've lost naturally due to the last 18 months? Reducing teacher workload, I believe this has been on the agenda for everybody since the start of teaching. It's always going to be there, but how can we use technology in our classrooms, in our teaching practice, away from the classroom, to reduce teacher workload, automatic assessments, for example, and monitoring student work through means other than a green pen, a book, and an afternoon spent marking those books. School and college improvement plans, as well as alongside that digital strategy. So working with SLT, working with schools to go, right, we're in this position, where do we want to be in 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months, and then putting in place actions and a strategy of route for that. Also supporting schools with their SEND curriculum or their curriculum for their SEND students and utilising the technology that they may already have and how that can be best put into practice to support those SEND students. And of course, in line with that, the sort of school and college resource management. We're no different at Bishop Chandler. We've got a bank of devices now from the DFE, and it's helping schools utilise those devices now they've got them in school rather than them being dust collectors sat on a shelf. What I will add here is it is completely bespoke, the support that schools can receive from us. If you want to join us, and quite simply, all you really need is strategies for utilising your iPads with your year 4, 5 and 6 groups, that is absolutely fine. if you want to join the program and go, right, we want to start from scratch with our digital strategy, how can we get ourselves from point A to point B in the space of 18 months? That is also absolutely fine. It is very bespoke to the schools. No school gets turned away in terms of how little or how much support they need. And I'll go over the different strands of support and what it looks like in terms of commitments in a few moments' time. How it works then is, as a school, as a primary or secondary school, or even a further education college setting, you register your interest to be part of the program. Now, the registering of the interest involves filling in a simple 2-page Google form, of which page 1 is just standard school details, postcode, address, number of students on roll, etc. And then second stage, which happens behind the scenes, is a review of your needs will take place. Based on the responses that you've given to the Google form, they will review your needs and match you with a demonstrator as best as possible. And of course, we are one of those 42 demonstrators you could get matched with. What we'll add here is you can request a specific demonstrator school. So for example, and hopefully many of you would, if you were signing up this afternoon, you can request St Albans with Bishop Chandler Catholic College. And given this is a Birmingham conference, I'd recommend doing that if you are signing up. Obviously, in the last 18 months, we've had the joys of talking to webcams and sitting, listening to webcam conversations, but there is a desire, there is a want to eventually go back to some sort of hybrid model with a physicality to the support as well. And obviously the geography being closed just means that it works perfect in that sense. Types of support then, which I mentioned earlier, we offer 3 strands of support. So there's a light touch, a medium touch, and unsurprisingly, a lung touch as well. And these are 6 hours, 15 hours, and 30 hours respectively. And of course, it just sort of categorizes how much work we believe is going to be involved in supporting you on your EdTech journey. This is dynamic as well. So for example, if you signed up and in the infancy, all you really wanted was strategies for reducing teacher workload, you might find, for example, after that initial conversation, we're looking at light touch support. However, it could be within those ongoing conversations where you go, that's great, but now you want to look at this. There's nothing saying that schools that are part of the program and schools that have been part of the program have moved up and down this sort of ladder in terms of types of support as well. What does the support look like? Well, the support, once again, is tailored. I keep coming back to this idea of bespoke, and it is completely bespoke to the needs of those schools that are being supported, or the school or the MAT, as it might be, that is being supported. Previously, as I said, in the last 18 months, naturally, it's all been online. This has been recorded content, the production of guides, sort of for much needed features in, say, Microsoft Teams, or how can I use Platform X to help my students do reading and spelling tests. Also, what we do as well with this is training and inset sessions. So that middle screenshot there is me sat in my old office now, going through a training session with a number of colleagues from a different school. It is very much tailored to the school. Often, for example, primary school settings will find us doing an inset or a twilight session. It's the same in secondary schools. It can be whole school, it can be targeted individuals, it can be a demonstrator one-on-one with somebody going, right, click here, click here, click here. Now you see it, yes, brilliant, let's try the next thing as well. So once again, completely tailored and completely exactly how you want it as a setting after that initial conversation. In terms of requesting support, and I'll add again to this, it is completely free. It's a completely free program, whether you sign up and use it for 30 hours or you sign up and use it for 2 hours and think this isn't for me. Hope that never happens, but it's completely free. The process of signing up is completely free, and there's absolutely nothing hidden behind the scenes in terms of costs or anything like that. How you can request support is through the edtechdemo.ucst.uk website, or if I very quickly end that show, this website here, and this is where you'll be taken to the request support bluish button on the left hand side. If I click that, I'll be taken to that Google form that I mentioned earlier, and as you can see, it's what I'd call the generic information about you, your school setting, and then of course, how did you hear about it? Hopefully many of you this afternoon are going to click, I heard somebody with a Brummie accent talking about it on a webinar at 12 o'clock, and then we can continue on with that process, and then we get to see you, and then we get to start the support. So in a quick nutshell, that is the EdTech Demonstrator program. What I'm going to do now is open it up to questions, but this is questions not just about the EdTech Demonstrator program that I've gone through, but also what Sarah and Chris have talked about in terms of the Computing Hub program and the offer from them and the NCCE as well. So thanks for listening to me, and of course, any questions, please do let us know. lost the chat. I'm just looking at the chat now.
Yeah, if anyone wants to ask, just put your screen on mute and just speak. I think that'd be great.
It's in the link to the EdTech website in the chat as well. For anyone that would like any further. Also going into the chat is the email address for our EdTech Demonstrator program. Before you sign up, should you have any further questions, you can obviously drop an email to there, and myself or a colleague will respond to any requests that you might have.
And I've also put the Teach Computing generic address into there as well. So please do get in touch.
Got a question in the chat. Could the EdTech Demonstrator program help with ideas to utilise the stacks of Chromebooks we now have in school? Absolutely. This has been a very common request, obviously, in recent months now that schools have mercifully gone back to face-to-face teaching. We all have these DFE devices and we're all kind of going, now what? What can we use them for? And obviously, one of the things we can do is support schools with strategies for utilising them, be whole school curriculum, extracurricular, or whatever strategies you might want as a school going forward. So to answer your question in short, absolutely, yes, we can. No worries.
Where our two approaches kind of come together here is with the computing hub. So for example, you've got those Chromebooks, you know, we can have a look at the software and how you can teach those skills in your computing lessons. And then Luke can come in and show staff how, now we've got all those skills, how we can utilize them elsewhere in the curriculum.
Absolutely.
But equally, we all talk to each other very closely. So, you know, if you are getting support from one of us and we feel there is further support you can have from somebody else, then we will, you know, signpost you to that support as well.